Empire. The worship of Isis resisted the rise of Christianity and lasted until the 6th century A.D. The ultimate end of your education was to make you a good wife. Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, 1689-1762, English Society figure, letter writer. Letter 28 January 1753 to her daughter Lady Bute, published in Selected Letters by Robert Haslam, 1970. Lady Montagu advised Lady Bute on bringing up her own daughter to make her happy in a virgin state. I was sent forth from God's power, and I have come to those who reflect on me, and have been found among those who seek after me. Look upon me, you who reflect upon me, and you hearers, hear me. You who are waiting for me, take me to yourselves, and do not banish me from your sight, and do not make your voice hate me, nor your hearing. Do not be ignorant of me anywhere or at any time. Be on your guard. Do not be ignorant of me, for I am the first and the last. I am the honored one and the scorned one. I am the whore and the holy one. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the mother and the daughter. I am barren, and many are my sons. I am she whose wedding is great, and I have not taken a husband. I am the solace of my labor pains. I am the bride and the bridegroom. I am she whose image is great in Egypt, the thunder, perfect mind, the Nag Hammadi library. And James, the son of Zebedee, and John, the brother of James, and he surnamed them Boanerges, which is the sons of thunder. Mark 3:17. The above verse sets the tone for what we will be talking about in this part. In part 1, I wanted you to see that the foundation of the Hebrews and the Christian religions came from the worship of Isis. Over the years, the Hebrews continued to worship Isis under the name of Asherah, the lioness of Israel. Eventually, the Hebrews divided themselves into two religions, one still worshiping Asherah, the other worshiping a male god of their own creation. The reason for this split can be blamed on the time period in which they lived. Men were quickly dominating earth societies. It was viewed by many in that era to be a sign of weakness to associate your religion with what they considered the weaker sex. Now, into this muddle, you must add the fundamental differences in thought between males and females. In primitive cultures, this difference is much greater. I'm referring to the basic hunter-gatherer type distinctions. We know today that much of the emotional and reasoning differences between males and females is attributable to cultural norms and the differences in education males and females receive. But there is still a core difference between the sexes that cannot be blamed on environment. Their differences are internal. There are basic hormonal differences that evolve over the years as survival traits. But even further, inside exists a fundamental difference in male and female kas, or souls. All these differences came into play as man began to develop his own religions and social structures. Nowhere was this difference felt more strongly than in religion. Women think differently than men. Those of you in academic can argue as much as you like over this statement, but it will not change the fact in the least bit. Females are not simply males with reproductive organs. It is important to understand this difference in order to see what effects it had on the Hebrew and Christian religions. The Doma originally gave this religion to male via the priestesses. Later on, male priests would take over religion in the Bible, you have writings gathered together in one book that came from two separate sources. The first source is the Doma/priestess-based religion. The second source is from the male God/male priest religion. Anyone who has read the Bible has noticed the basic difference of philosophy between the different chapters and different testaments. There are supposed to be two different forces talked about in the Bible. One is the force of good or God, and the other is the force of evil or Satan. I have explained to you about the war and Satan's defeat at the hand of the Doma. So what then? If Satan was no longer influencing man's religion produced the differences found in the Bible. The differences you see in the Bible are a result of the differences between the male and female religions. To the female religion, the male religion represents the forces of evil. To the male priests, goddess worship was seen as evil. Different parts of the Bible seem different because they were the result of different religions. Much of the Old Testament is the result of male religious forces. Much of the New Testament is the result of female religious forces. Let me see if I can make this a little clearer for you. It is vital that you understand this. Let's divide the period of time from the end of the war until the present into three periods. The first period is from the end of the war until Abraham. The second is from Abraham until shortly after Muhammad. The third is from shortly after Muhammad to the present. During the first period, the Doma introduced basic laws and civilization. The people were strongly matriarchal or female-based in their religions. The second period saw the introduction of advanced religious philosophies via the Messiah projects. During this time, mankind was left more and more on its own. Males, because of their physical strength, began to assert more and more control over both society and religion. Mankind began to shift from a matriarchal society to a patriarchal one. The third period saw these patriarchal forces overwhelm and destroy the matriarchal forces. Men established firm control over all aspects of earth, society, and religion. This control has existed to the present day. We have been talking about the second period throughout this way message. It is a time when male and female religions were warring with each other. This war was eventually won by the males. They destroyed the female control of certain religions, but did not destroy the religion itself. They absorbed both it and the masses of the followers. They killed the shepherdess and stole her flock. They made the laws she had given them their own. The females did not go down without a fight, though, nor did the Doma sit idly by. During a brief 1,500-year window, the attempt was made to balance the forces. This effort was focused on the insertion of Doma-instructed stormtroopers, if you will, the great teachers. For a brief while, the Doma thought they had succeeded, one by one. However, they saw their efforts absorbed into the growing patriarchal power base. It taught them a very valuable lesson. They realized that even though they taught mankind advanced concepts, man himself needed time to advance. Mankind needed time to develop its own internal maturity